So we heard that the concerts of a place of very strangers are the most amazing that people can see. What do you think that people say that?
I think we kind of sort of create a concert which is like a memory of what it was like to kind of be going to the coolest shows we went to when we were younger. And so it's sort of this, now that time has gone on, it's sort of this warped, twisted image or dream of like what a cool concert was to go to. So,
Why wouldn't you want to see that every time?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's like that kind of feeling of like, you're young, you don't know what the fuck is going on, you know, and you're kind of trying to figure it out, as well as like people are going crazy and having a good time, and I think that's what you want at a concert.
Yeah, maybe very wild.
Totally, and we also do everything real and at that moment. You know, there's nothing like pre-recorded or anything, so we can adapt the show to whatever the fuck is going on at the moment. It's like if, you know, someone, I don't know, throws a ham on stage, we can turn that ham into part of the show.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that happened at your shows?
I don't know. We've had people like run up on stage, or we've hurt ourselves and stuff, I guess. One time I remember I stabbed this guitar string through my thumb, and I went to pull it out, but it was curled around because it had come from like the tuna peg things, but like twisted out from, oh, it was so painful. And then that was in the middle of songs, so we had to keep on going.
And doing that at the same time?
You know, yeah, and then there you go. But all sorts of crazy things happen at our shows, but they don't seem that crazy because they happen so often, I guess.
Yeah, we try to make, basically we try to make every show as crazy as we can. So I think that's what people like about our shows. You know, it keeps it exciting, especially you haven't seen this before. You see that for the first time and you've never seen any other band do that before.
Definitely. Okay. It's almost 10 years since your first album go out, and you almost never stopped playing, right?
Pretty much. No, we took a break for like 5 months or something.
We've never really stopped playing.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And how this affected you guys, like your health, for example?
Probably bad.
Well, he's the only original one still playing, so.
Yeah, so actually it has kind of affected the health of a lot of people where they had to quit the band, I think.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's a little physically demanding, especially the drummer, I think, of the band always. It's like John pukes, he's the drummer and he pukes very often.
The actual drummer.
You know, and stuff. So, you know, and the last drummer that we had got a carpal tunnel, you know, so he couldn't really play anymore or something like that for the most part.
Really?
Yeah, so it just kind of happens, but I think also it's kind of good to be doing something that you love, and it's kind of good for your health in some ways, where you sort of always get kind of energized doing that and being involved in these things. And there's something about a show, maybe you're like using your adrenaline or something, but you can feel really sick or whatever, and then as soon as you step up on stage, it kind of like makes you feel better and works it out.
But it's not just for a while?
Just for a moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. There's maybe like a little bit of a high after a show or whatever too.
But I play guitar a lot, like even when I'm not playing shows, for hours, every day pretty much. So you do get a little shot of that feeling, I feel, every time I play music. Because that's the essence of playing music. When you're in that zone, it's just more than just a bunch of playing a bunch of notes. It's like an energy life force of some sorts, which is kind of a boost.
Shows are the most important reason for you doing your music? Maybe? Because
it's really cool like that we get to be able to do all these different things, because you kind of, you know, when you're playing shows a whole lot, you kind of really want to get back and record some music, you know, because you start to come up with all these ideas for songs, and then when you're at home and you're working on songs, eventually you're like, man, I want to get back out on the road. So it's just great that we get to do all of those things. I mean, we even like silk screen posters and t-shirts and album covers and crazy things. So you kind of can do whatever the hell you want. It's like you want to make a video, great. We're like all of a sudden cinematographers or something.
so the point is
You know?
really do things all the time, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do good, new, and exciting things all the time.
Yeah, and things that you like to do, and it's really cool is that, like, you know, you get to hang out with your friends and do these things with your friends and stuff. It's good.
Playing for your friends or something.
Playing for your friends and stuff, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
With your friends.
Okay, your new album is like have been live record. So do you think that how it's supposed to be the rock albums?
What do you mean live?
Yeah, like
I
sound like
think
it's live.
It's not meant to be like that. I think any album can be recorded anyway. It doesn't matter how it's recorded, just as long as the end result is what is intended, I suppose, or not intended, but as long as it's worthy of listeners, I suppose.
Yeah, we kind of always try to do something sort of different with every record, and you kind of have some maybe grand idea, and it always shifts and changes and turns into something else. But that was like the original idea with this record, like let's record it live and try to see
Yeah,
if we
sure.
can capture that. And we like rebuilt our studio and everything to like you know, be able to record like 80 tracks at once and stuff, because I thought it'd be like so cool to like put up microphones everywhere and
Yeah,
record it
sure.
all. And, you know, that turns out to not be the greatest idea in the world. But, you know, it ended up being where we tried to do everything kind of live, because there's something special that happens at a particular moment when, like, everyone is kind of connecting, and you kind of create something that's, you know, better than you could possibly imagine. It's so neat, just that, like, you know, we recorded a lot of songs on the record, like, a whole many times. And it was just a matter of, like, those perfect times when, like, everybody was really feeling it.
The band was really good at that time too. Like we'd been touring for 2 years straight, going into that. Pretty much. So it was, you know, a good band to capture live.
Yeah, you had a lot of practice.
That was part of the reason we decided to record live too. At that stage.
And we think about the bands that makes the things different. For example, they record an album and then try to do the same thing when they're doing the show.
Our shows are completely different to our records, I feel.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's very little in common. I mean,
There's the essence.
There's the essence of trying to take things as crazy and as wild as we possibly can. That's what we're trying to do with both things. But it's a little easier to do that live, I feel, especially with rock and roll music, you know, and being at the moment. And things are a little bit more loud and crazy and wild, you know, just in general live.
Yeah, there's a lot more we can do, even just with the physics of how sound works in a live situation. So it's kind of crazy, you know. If I could go over to your house and set up your stereo and crank it up all the way and throw the speakers around, then we could get the same kind of thing, maybe. But otherwise,
We should do this sometime.
Yeah, we should.
Here anyway.
There you
Throw
go.
the PA speakers.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, you're very quiet and you're the new drummer, so maybe you can answer that. Which album do you think that must be the most important for a band?
Answer carefully.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Should be
for this band or any band?
any band. Yeah, the first one, maybe third. Yeah, what?
Yeah, I think
Which
it's the first one. Yeah, you have to start off with it being like number one and great. And
Kind of sets the
100%.
tone.
Yeah.
Do you think the same?
I would totally agree. There's no reason why you wanted to have the first one be kind of crap. And then the second one be really good. You want them all to be good, and you want them all to progress. And
I mean, there's plenty of bands who've written better albums later on
sure.
down the road, but I think a lot of times the first album is almost like the most pure essence and idea of the band. It's when everyone's like, well, what kind of band do we want to make? You know, what is this band going to be? And you're there with your friends, and you kind of figure it out, and you have plenty of time to sort that out, and then, you know, kind of take your time and come out with this, you know, pure idea of what it is. And then after that happens, people write about your record and talk about it, and, you know, have different ideas and think like, oh, what we should have done or some crap or something, and it kind of taints like that almost pure excitement.
That's the truth. It's like, yeah, the first record for me, in bands I've been involved in, have always been kind of the most naive, where you don't have any pressure, you're just doing it for the pure reason of the kind of music you want to make, and then as soon as that's out, then everyone gets to hear it, and you sure get to hear everyone's opinion about it. And then you got to filter out or live through that and make the second.
And also a lot of my favorite bands, like you love their first album. You know, you're like, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So your the first album, A Place to Bury Strangers, is your favorite?
It's probably my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean it's one of the only ones I wasn't involved with. So that just puts it in a whole different category for me. I wasn't involved with it, and I like the rawness of it too. It sounds to me like the songs, like you said, kind of the distilled, most essence of A Place to Bury Strangers.
I like Exploding Head. I think
It's the second record.
yeah.
It's not what you told me the other day.
Well, worship's.
I might pick
Rather.
Worship or something, I don't know. I like
Yeah.
that. It's a long record, and looking back on it, I think maybe it's not the easiest for everyone to digest, like 14 songs or something. It goes like way up and down all over the place, but I like that.
Okay, talking about new albums, but also talking about tonight, have you heard something from the other bands? For example, there's a few local talent. Have you heard
I've
something?
not heard anything.
I've met the guys from one of the bands, but I don't really know what they sound like, so
Okay.
we'll see. But
He's a
we
nice
always
guy.
super nice.
Yeah.
But
Do you remember the name?
I don't remember which of the two bands.
¿Quién más tocaba ahí?
Marlento.
Maybe probably
Dolphant.
Marlento or
Okay.
Dolphant. I don't know. But yeah, the both bands are really great. So I hope
Awesome.
you can
We'll
hear.
definitely be there and check it
Yeah,
out.
sure.
Yeah,
You should
sure.
really. There are my favorites. Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
Axel, yeah,
Cool.
sure.
Great.
Okay, and just to finish, what are you planning for tonight? What's gonna happen at
We
your
don't
show?
really talk about this until closer to the show. Generally,
Yeah.
we don't know what set we're doing. We always change it every night.
So kind of write it just beforehand to sort of keep it exciting us on our toes, into where it's like just a pure idea that happens based on what the vibe in the venue is and everything.
Yeah, sure.
Like that.
And it also, like we said before, we like to make things kind of wild and crazy. It makes sure that we have to adapt to any situation that's put in front of us. So a different set kind of puts a different set of things you might think are really hard. Oh my God, we're starting with that song. Jesus, how am I going to do that?
Oh, no.
You have to just deal with it and make it work. And that's, I think, it'll be cool.